Good morning. I'm Pastor John Powell from Parkview Presbyterian Church in Oak Park, Illinois. Today is Sunday, November 8th, and the national election is still in question as it is getting closer and closer. But today I needed to actually come to the Beatitudes again because they are so rich and full. I have realized that I just scratched the surface last week, and I want to give you the full benefit of the Beatitudes. In fact, I realized that there are 9 blesseds within the text of Matthew chapter 5, and there are 9 fruits of the Spirit, according to the Apostle Paul in Galatians chapter 5. And there's perhaps some balance between Matthew 5 and Galatians 5 as we consider what it means to belong to Christ in these days, even as our neighbors are watching. My neighbor across the street had the opposite sign as I had on my front yard, and yet we are definitely friends. Do you remember in preschool or vacation Bible school when you were a little one and we used to sing that song, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Well, the impact of the Beatitudes are deep and meant to be wide. And I'll reflect that in just a moment. Again, I am very dependent upon the work of Dale Bruner, who was the professor of theology at Whitworth College in Spokane, Washington for many years, who was a personal acquaintance. And in his book, the Christ book, the first half of a 2-volume commentary on Matthew, a theological, historical commentary, he brings even more to the Beatitudes. And it's important to understand that there is some structure to this text. Just like any good essay or any book will have some structure, some form, some way of telling the story. And you look at the first 3, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Those are words of great comfort, great encouragement. They're words of grace to the little people. Words of grace to the little people. And it's the little people in life who find themselves without any resource except their faith in a living God. And if you know someone, or if you are someone who find yourselves at times feeling like little people, then those first 3 of the 9 Beatitudes are for you. The word poor, blessed are the poor in spirit, is the word that means those who are utterly crushed, utterly despondent, deeply ruined. Luke's gospel emphasizes more financial poor, but this is about poor in spirit, poor in their very psyche, desperately, despairingly poor. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, here and now. The very presence of God in their lives with those at their lowest. And blessed are those who mourn. The word there is utterly crushed in spirit. No joy, utter happiness, as opposed to utter haplessness. Those who are empty from grief. And the third, blessed are the meek, are the utterly powerless, completely despondent for any influence or position or opportunity to make a difference anywhere. They are utterly crushed by life. This is a particular interpretation, yes. But it means that for those who are the little people at their lowest, there is God. That God is with the little people, which keeps us from pride, keeps us from looking down, keeps us from dismissing others, with having the kind of regard for others the way God does in Jesus, which we see again and again and again. And some of us are loaded with pride because we look down on others. It's very interesting how the media portrays those who live in the South, and y'all, and this, and I reckon, and I'm fixing. But having lived in Texas for a good length of my adulthood, I am much more sensitive to how media, Hollywood, the coasts, devalue the deplorables in this country. And Jesus would have nothing to do with that. The first three are about the little people who are motivated by faith. Then there's a transition about the nature of righteousness. And in Scripture, for the Hebrews, righteousness was a circle that enclosed us and was a vast circular array of relationships where we had to deal with others. We had the opportunity to deal with others. It's not a point where it's just you're either in or you're out, or a line that is very delicate. Jesus says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness," right relationships in all of their circumference. In fact, the word righteousness, biblically, and the word righteousness and the word justice, biblically, are the same word. So to demonstrate in the streets or cause major destruction to small business owners is unrighteousness. It's not justice, because both relationship depend upon this appropriate response to others. Sadiq in the Old Testament Hebrew, dikaiosune in the New Testament in Greek. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied by God and in His kingdom. And we want to live that way. And then Jesus shifts from those who are little people, the needy, to those who are the servant people who want to help. The first need this amazing grace, and the servant people are motivated by love. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart. At the center, the heart, biblically, is the center of who we are. Our thinking, our feeling, our doing. It's not just our emotions, like we think in the West. And blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons and daughters of God. And then he says that those who are recognizing of both these, the need Beatitudes and the help Beatitudes, put it into practice. Because blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And then he addresses us. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all manner of evil against you falsely on my account. Jesus is identifying himself with all righteousness. It's the right thing that God does, and it must become the right thing that we do. And then he says, in order to put this into practice, you must be salt that penetrates, that preserves, that flavors, that even kills. We gargle to kill the germs. You are the salt of the earth, but don't lose your taste. You are the light of the world. Let your light so shine before others that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Penetrate deeply like salt, and let your life be wide like a lighthouse in your neighborhood. One of the churches I served in Pittsburgh was lighted at night. It had twin towers. You could see it all over the southern portion of Pittsburgh. It was like York Cathedral. And our motto, our logo was a bright beacon in a dark world. And that church continues to seek to be a bright beacon in a dark world. The Lord be with you and yours as you go deep and wide for the glory of God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. Bless you. God be with you till we meet again.